Did you know that the Bible strictly forbids astrology? God actually not only commands against it, but he also makes it clear that there is no other source that you should be getting your knowledge from than God himself. And I want to actually show you those both. So when you come to Deuteronomy chapter 4, Moses is giving the commands of God, and he's actually warning the people against idolatry. And within this statement, he says, "And take heed, lest you lift your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the hosts of heaven," by heaven we're talking about outer space here, "and you feel driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord your God has given to all the peoples under the whole heaven as a heritage." He is warning against seeing those things and assigning something different to them when God tells them there's actually a different purpose for them. Something interesting about that word astrologer, when you follow it in the Old Testament, is it's about the same as the word sorcerer and the like. And the purpose behind the word is that they make something appear as if it's there when it's really not. They try to present something to you that isn't really there, trying to convince you that it is. A really good example of that is in Daniel chapter 2, where Nebuchadnezzar has a dream, wakes up troubled, and he calls the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers. And the point of this is not that there's tons of different types of these people. It's trying to explain to you that these are all the same kind of people. And they come to him and they say, "Hey, what's your dream?" And he tests them. He says, "Hey, if you can tell me what my dream was and what it meant, then I won't kill you." But he doesn't actually tell them the dream. He wants them to read his mind, to read his thoughts, to read the future, and to say what his dream meant. Well, as you read on, they continue and they realize, you know what, nobody can do this. Essentially, they give themselves up as fakes. You see, one of the biggest reasons why we're to stay away from astrology is astrology claims to have what's called prognostication. It's a big word that just simply means to know the future. It guesses. It's targeted guesswork, and they'll say, well, today this thing will happen to you. Today you'll meet this type of person and whatever. God actually strictly commands us to stay away from that stuff because he alone is the only one that can call the end from the beginning. He's the only one that knows the future. Then when you come to Isaiah 46, verses 9 to 10, God says, "I am God. There is none like me." And the example that he gives, he says, declaring the end from the beginning. In other words, no one else but me can prophesy in the future. Nobody else can tell you what is going to happen before it happens. You have so many running around trying to look for information from anything else but the living God. And it doesn't make sense to go to all the fake sources when there's only one true source. A great example of that is in Isaiah 8:19, where he's talking to Isaiah and he says, "Hey, when they say to you, seek those who are mediums and wizards, those who whisper and mutter," in other words, go to a different source for information than God, God himself says, "Should not a people seek their God? Should they seek the dead on behalf of the living?" You see, no matter how closely their information can line up, no matter how good their guesses can come to pass, astrology is just that, guesswork. I hope this helps you. And if you want to see more about this, because I will put more about astrology and so forth, and also what the constellations are actually used for as designed by God's purpose, subscribe and you'll get more. Until then, God bless you.